So a lot of people are waking up this morning to the news that Senator Thom Tillis will not seek re-election. This comes after he announced that he is not going to support President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Israel Balderas is an assistant professor of journalism at Elon University, and he joins this morning to try to help us break all this down.
Good morning.
So good morning. Thank you for being here. You know, the president wasted no time whatsoever in blasting Thom Tillis on social media. A, when he found out that he was not going to support this bill,
right.
And B, when he said, I'm going to go ahead and retire.
Right. Exactly. Now, you know, there had already been some beef going on between the president and Thom Tillis all the way back in February, when behind the scenes Thom Tillis didn't want to support Pete Hegseth, who is Trump's Secretary of Defense, and it looked like he wasn't going to vote for him. He eventually did, but that behind the scenes, trying to taint the reputation, as Donald Trump put it, you already knew that there was tensions between the White House. Certainly opposing what Trump calls the big beautiful bill was a line that Thom Tillis knew. He can't vote for this bill because of his concerns for Medicaid, but he knew the writing on the wall.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting that Tillis said, you know, Trump said, this is, you know, I'm going to put somebody up against you in a primary, and Tillis said, joke's on you, because I'm not going to run for re-election.
I would say, you know, look, if he wants to retire, that's great. However, I've covered Thom Tillis ever since he was Speaker of the House here in North Carolina, and I know that he is a man of conviction. I would have liked to have seen him say, look, I am not going to vote for this bill because out of conviction, I care for residents who rely on Medicaid in North Carolina, and I would have liked to have seen him run based on that conviction, right? To give North Carolinians a vote and say, look, I support this as a matter of policy, right? I want to reach out across the aisle. That's the North Carolina way. But instead now, the way we've seen in politics, an open primary seat really opens for both the left wing and the right wing of both parties.
Yes. And the thing of it is, a Trump-backed candidate doesn't necessarily mean that candidate's going to win.
Right,
We've
Mark
seen that
Robinson
happen.
was lieutenant governor. However, there is already a big name being floated, which would certainly put a lot of eyes on North Carolina, and that would be Lara Trump. Lara Trump, who's from North Carolina, is married to Eric Trump, Donald Trump's daughter-in-law. She already has said, I'm thinking about running. Donald Trump had suggested that maybe she would take over for Marco Rubio's seat in Florida, but now we're looking in North Carolina. If Lara Trump decides to run in the Senate seat, certainly that would be a huge sucking sound of money and attention in politics here in North Carolina.
Definitely. So this big beautiful bill, they're debating it right now in the Senate. It
starts at 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock
so
in the Senate.
Yes.
So what are the chances? Because there's so much that different factions are saying this isn't going to work. Right.
It's expensive. CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, has already come out, said it's going to cost $3 trillion on the issue that Thom Tillis cares about, which is Medicaid. But how much would the federal government cut back in Medicaid, and what would that mean for North Carolinians who rely on those resources? He says 663,000 North Carolinians would be removed from Medicaid. So on that issue, there's a lot of senators, especially from red states, who are very concerned of what that would mean for their constituents. But across the board, I mean, we're talking about this bill would certainly impact everyone, from the grocery store to the gas station to their children's education to their grandparents' health care. And so you're going to see a lot of amendments being put forth between now and July 4th. That's the arbitrary date that the Senate side has said we want to pass this bill by then. Look, the Republicans have the votes, right? So far, only 2 have defected. You've got Rand Paul of Kentucky, and you've got Thom Tillis of North Carolina. However, will this thing pass? I give it a 70% chance of passing. But it will impact the races in 2026. Certainly now, in North Carolina, with an open race, this will be an issue that you will see a lot in the commercials that run here on Fox News.
So Israel's going to stick around with us. There's a whole lot more about this bill and about what has happened in the last 24 hours. We're going to talk more about that in the next half hour.